Is butch a dirty word? Well, Amir and I are going to be talking a little bit about that today because I found an interesting article in the Huffington Post that talks about Butch is not a dirty word, which is an anthology of essays, stories, and photography curated by Esther Godoy, who for decades had little to no positive experiences of relating to the queer community until she moved from Australia to Portland. She identifies as a butch or masculine presenting woman. Spoiler alert, me too. So this was particularly interesting to me, and I want to go over what she said in this article and then sort of talk about it with you with regards to butch women being represented in the mainstream media. She says, as a more masculine presenting female, the narrative of my entire life has been other, weird, unattractive, and different, both before and after I realized I was gay. And she also says that she doesn't feel like there are any positive representations of butch women in the media. She says, in terms of very mainstream media, Orange is the New Black is the closest thing I've seen, and in this particular media context, they are still being othered from society. So they're still in a vacuum, they're still in prison. And then she wants to talk about visibility. She says that there is no visibility for butch presenting women. She says going back even 10 years, the whole 6 seasons on the L Word, there was just one masculine of center lesbian character, Shane. Love you, but very true. And what she wants to do with this anthology of essays with Butch is not a dirty word, she says visibility is everything. She's saying you can't be what you can't see, and we want to have strong and positive representations of butches and masculine presenting females out there in the world. So this is something that I don't get to hear about a lot, and as a butchy dyke person, I really gravitated towards it. Obviously, this was a story I recommended for this channel, but fuck it, we're gonna talk about it. Amir, do you think that there is a lack of representation of butch women in the mainstream media?
Yeah.
Yeah!
As you were talking about this, I was trying to think of anyone off the top of my head. I actually could, because I've been watching Deadwood. But that's not mainstream media. That's like a niche show on HBO.
Isn't that show no longer in existence?
No,
also?
it was from like 2002 to 2005.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that. I mean, here's the thing. When you are a lesbian in the world, especially when everyone wants to watch someone they identify with. So if you're watching Westworld or if you're watching any show, there's a character that you want to see yourself in. And when you are when you are in the LGBT community, it becomes a little bit more difficult to see yourself in these characters because I don't really put myself in the place of the man when I'm watching a straight couple on a TV show. So then you gravitate towards whatever sort of lesbian representations you have. And those are not so many. So I'm aware of Deadwood.
Can you give me some representatives of...
Well, you have Orange is the New Black. And now I'm on the spot, so I'm gonna totally flub it up. I do have, not to shameless plug here, I did make a video about it on my YouTube channel.
Oh, shit.
Where I'm just saying where I looked up, I took the time, I wasn't on the spot, and I researched a bunch of shows. So then I had my list ready, and now you asking me, and I can't think of my list. The L Word, these are obvious. Come on, anyone. There's more.
What about, what's the comedian show?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Take My Wife. That's what it's called.
Take Your Wife?
I think so. Here's My Wife. Take My Wife. This is My Wife. It's something with my wife.
Yeah.
Out and About with My Wife. And that's with Rhea Butcher and Cameron Esposito. So there are some shows, but that's on CISO. There aren't any mainstream.
Yeah.
And you know, there was this show that they did with Alicia Cuthbert that Ellen DeGeneres produced back in the day, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, called One Big Happy. And it was about, and it was maybe on CBS, NBC, or ABC. It was one of the major networks. And it was about a woman who is gay, and she has a best friend who is a guy who is straight. Sound familiar? And then she wants to have a baby, so she's like having a baby with him. Is this right? What I'm looking up?
No.
Oh, okay. You're looking about Rachel Maddow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does she count?
She's not a character. She's a human.
Oh, so we're only talking about characters, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're talking about fictional characters or even reality TV, but the real L Word has long been
Okay,
canceled.
then there's very little.
But yeah, so back to my story about the show that Ellen DeGeneres produced back in the day. They had this it was so conventional. It was like this, Alicia Cuthbert is gay, and but guys, she's not too gay. Like, you can still look at her and be like, what do you think? You know, and I really hate that because I
They sexualize them for the male gaze.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and even if they don't overtly sexualize them, they make it so that a guy, or not a guy, or that it's not too gay, so that middle America can watch it and it can be okay. And that's what I like about Logo and this, RuPaul's Drag Race, which is, there are not a whole lot of lesbians on RuPaul's Drag Race, but I don't think that there are any, but don't quote me because anyway, sexuality is a spectrum. You love who you love. But I like shows like that where it's unapologetically like we are a queer show and we get a channel. You guys get every other channel and we get like
one channel.
We get a channel where we can be gay as fuck, as gay as we want. But I still think that there are some strides that we need to take so that because I get really tired, Amir, of every time we do some video that someone wants to respond to or comment on, which doesn't happen that often, but whenever it's someone that isn't familiar with our channel, that sees something that we talk about on our channel and wants to respond, it is always a joke about how I look homely or gross or, but it's not like, but it's something about, that I look like a man or like a dude, which by the way, like
and I think that
it's
ties into
intentional.
because there's not enough representation.
Yeah, so it's like it's funny.
So it's like whoa.
It's like I wouldn't fuck her. Like we
one,
know.
Yeah. Jeez, she
Like
wouldn't
that's
fuck you.
that's the point. Well, I would, but it would be with a strap on and you'd be bent over. Sorry, that's rude. That's super rude. But I have a guard up because sometimes I feel threatened because there isn't I just feel like I'm a lone wolf in a pack of straight people.
You bring up a lot of really important and true points that I don't even think about half the time. But yeah.
It's just
of the representations that are in the media
of lesbians.
Are they accurate?
I think so. I mean, that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with presenting as conventionally feminine or sort of falling somewhere in the middle. But for people that identify as butch or like, I really like the word dyke to describe myself. I know it's like problematic. And people have said before, like, is she allowed to say that? Yeah, I can say it.
Is she allowed to say that?
That happened in a Murder with Friends video.
Really?
I said dykes, and then there was a comment, and they were like, should we be upset that Grace said dyke? And then one person commented no, and it had like 8 likes. But I think that sometimes it can be a little bit. It's okay to present more in a conventionally accepted way, but it would be really cool if we saw in the coming years, as we're making strides towards LGBT inclusion and acceptance, if we made strides to just including a character that is super gay, because we've done that with guys. Think about it. Like, you can have a sassy gay queen on television in a major primetime slot, but you throw in like a dyke and it's automatically because of how she presents, that's the joke. It's not like it's a very one-dimensional character. It's like the plumber dyke. Whoa, you guys want to go on
the chick from 2.5 Men, like the maid.
From 2.5 Men?
Yeah, did you watch that show?
No.
They have like some woman that lives in and she's very butch.
Is she a lesbian?
And she's just like I don't know, but I think she comes off as one. She was straight?
I'm pretty sure she's straight. She does wear flannel. I know who you're talking about, though, so fair call.
But like, I get what you're saying. When they do bring in the butch character, it's just a joke.
Right.
It's not a real character with dimensions in it.
Will and Grace had, Jack from Will and Grace was a queen, but had story arcs. And I think that that's something that we want to move towards. So
I think it would help to start with actually hiring writers who are lesbians, who are gay, who are butch lesbians.
Yeah. Because we're not that scary. I mean, I'm 6 feet tall, so I can be scary, but by and large, I'm not.
She's shorter than me, though, guys.
I know.
I put that on the record.
I know. Look at how you were so sly about these chairs today. But guys, we want to hear from you in the comment section below. What do you think about this? Is butch a dirty word? What do you think about lesbian representation in the media? I really want to hear about this because I got to pick this story today. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.